Hello everyone! Today I want to do some fun plant art with Derwent and Inktense watercolor pencils. I never really liked watercolor pencils until I tried these, and I do work with ink a lot, funny enough, and so I love these super intense, bold colors that you get with these and just how much they flow and blend and how you don't end up seeing a lot of your original sketch lines. They blend really smoothly, more like ink. I will be doing a couple of these, highlighting some of my favorite plant babies. I've already done the initial sketch, and then I traced some circle templates to pop out certain parts of the image and put a pattern over it, and I'm actually going to be using different color schemes inside the shapes. So it just makes it a little more interesting. This also gives me the opportunity to play with more colors. For each of the leaves, I'm working with a light, a medium, and a dark value. I also added a little more hints of gold and brown in certain areas to neutralize it and make this part of the picture, not inside the circles, a little more natural, realistic colors. Layering in neutrals helps you balance some of the brightness of these colored pencils if you do want to make something that has more of a neutralized, from nature sort of color, rather than the really bright, almost Crayola turquoises and greens and lime colors. What's also great about these is, as you can see, you don't have to wait as long in between to fill in edges that touch each other like with watercolor. If I were working this quickly with traditional watercolor paints, my edges would be all fuzzy and bleeding into each other, but these dry and set super quickly so that you can move on to the spot right next to the one you just finished with ease, which I love. I'm doing inside the circles in blues, so that's going to be a little more artsy, not realistic colors, but I still have my light, my medium, and my darker values. So when you're working with watercolor pencils, as long as you have 3 different values, that makes it a lot easier to create dimension and have your picture turn out the way you want it. And that is what is going to define everything and give your picture shape. And so as I'm filling in the leaves, I'm also making sure that the overlapping edges of the leaves, I don't have the same exact value right next to each other, so that way they don't blend together. Even though standalone, you can get really sharp edges with these colored pencils, I, as I mentioned, love ink, and so I always like to add a little bit of an ink outline at the end to give it a fun illustration look. And I'm also going to use ink to fill in the background. And you don't need a lot of water when blending colored pencils. You can see that I'm tapping my brush off on my paper towel a lot. You really just want it to be damp for the most part. And here is the finished piece. I have a couple more plant friends that I'm going to be doing designs with that I will post soon. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this and love all things art, be sure to subscribe.